Hey everybody, it's Kentario. I'm back again with Christ in Comic Books. As you can see, I'm looking a little hairy. It's about time I get this mess cut. So hopefully I'm gonna have it cut by my next video. So bear with me, be patient. But today I wanted to do my video kind of touching back with Marvel versus Dragon Ball. And the reason I'm touching back to this is because I myself have been struggling with a very big question in regards to the storyline with this. And as you know, where we left off was we touched on how Thanos made his way to the Dragon Ball Z universe, and he's going around to collect the Dragon Balls from the other universes. And of course, we are going to hit on a big old touchdown that's going to happen once he gets to our main guys, Goku and Vegeta's Earth, in their universe 7 or universe 6. I forget which universe they're from. I think it's universe 7. But once it touches down there's some big old plans that I have for how that storyline could go. And again, guys, I'm looking for any feedback that you may have, any opinions that you may have, any questions that you might have that'll help create the story and actually make it something good that just for people to enjoy thinking about, talking about. That's the only reason I'm doing this, is because a good story is really what makes crossing universes great, not always the battle. So I'm hoping to put together a good story. So what I've been struggling with and thinking through a lot of is Dr. Doom being in the story, because where I left off was Thanos didn't do this on his own. He was manipulated and driven by Dr. Doom. Dr. Doom wanted this to happen, because if there's anyone outside of Thanos that wants cosmic power, that wants multiversal power, that wants his hands on these things, it would be Dr. Doom. And if anyone who matches Thanos in that drive, as well as maybe questionably surpasses Thanos in intellect, or at least in a strategic thought, that would be possibly in the villain realm, Dr. Doom. So that's why I think Dr. Doom would be that fit for this role. Now, what would lead up to Dr. Doom even seeking to find these things is, if you know anything about I think it's 1984, back when they first did Secret Wars, and this was an instance where the Beyonder, there's a difference between the Beyonders and the Beyonder. So the Beyonder is one who was some energy that came from the realm where the Beyonders come from, and the cosmic energy that comes from there was siphoned through and was basically released into the main Marvel universe and was just floating through there, and it began to go through kind of like a birthing process. The Beyonder took the form of a human being, got his own physical form, started watching everyone, started observing everything, and studying basically the way that human beings were functioning. And I'm really simplifying this, so if you ever want to look up the Beyonder, I'll be sure to tag for you someone who you can definitely look to for a clear and concise and specific explanation on the Beyonder, because like I said, I always reference Comics Explained if I need something simplified, something explained to me to kind of get a good understanding. So I definitely recommend him, and I'll be linking him in the bottom also, where you guys can hit that subscribe button so you can be linked up with my channel and be prepared for any new videos. So, but going forward from this, with the Beyonder, what he ended up doing, which sparked all of Secret Wars, was that he brought in several of the different heroes. He brought in several of the different villains, and basically kind of had them go to battle. He brought them in prepared, equipped them with all their weapons that they normally would have, basically fully at full strength. He had them at. And so it was supposed to be this big, long, drawn-out battle. Now, of course, the story wasn't written just to get to a battle front. It was considering the mindset of different characters, the capabilities of different characters, the emotions of different characters were all brought into this. One of which being that Dr. Doom's drive for power was being considered in this story. Not to go too deep into it, but this is just pointing out, like I said, Dr. Doom's power drive is the first thing on his mind. What can I do to get more power? Who do I have to manipulate to get to having all of the power that I want? At the end of it all, he was seeking to get his hands on the Beyonder's power himself, so that Dr. Doom could become the strongest. Another thing that I consider when I'm thinking about Dr. Doom being that one that would go this far to get his hands on the Super Dragonballs is that he, in one of the multiverses of Dragon Ball, was one of the only people to actually succeed in, I guess you could say, the salvation of the Marvel Universe, making sure everyone is at peace, taking care of everyone. If they would allow him to actually go into that leadership role of taking control of everything and having all that power, he would do great things on behalf of the universe. So for him to have that drive is to be able to be in that position and have that drive towards the Dragon Balls, he would be the perfect person to be that threat, to be that person that the heroes would want to watch out for in this situation. So some of the things that I want to consider to lead up to Doctor Doom's application to this storyline. So like I said, we left off with Thanos going to the main Dragon Ball universe to go and try and get his hands on their Dragon Balls. You have Goku and Vegeta meeting up with the Avengers and the Fantastic Four to try and figure out, one, what's going on, two, to come up with a plan to contend with everything that's going on. So they're trying to figure out the big picture, the big plan. So far, the only person they know of that's doing this is Thanos. They haven't even put Doctor Doom on their radar. So Doctor Doom is able to move kind of quietly right now. But what the lead up is, as far as Doctor Doom's role in this, is if you know anything about the Fantastic Four, I think it's Jonathan Hiickman's storyline for the Fantastic Four. He did a writing where Reed Richards, what he ended up doing was he ended up making a portal to where he could go to different universes in the Marvel Universe, of course. But he ended up encountering what's called the Council of Reeds. The Council of Reeds, they come together to discuss what they can do to bring about basically salvation and peace and everything for the individual universes. So they work together to help universe to universe to universe. However, one of their goals in doing this, as it being the multiversal Reeds, several different versions of Reed Richards coming together, is that they make sure that they take down Doctor Doom. A part of what they do to take him down is they lobotomize each one from each universe, and they basically stick them into captivity. So with them being stuck into captivity, they become useless, which is one of the things, if Doctor Doom were to see Doctor Doom in that state, he would not be happy at all. He would be frantic. He would be freaked out. There's even an instance throughout that comic where you find that Doctor Doom is impacted by this, but from the main Marvel Universe, but he's able to be at his home base in I forget where he comes from. Latvania, I forget what it's called. I'll have to double back to that, guys. Leave the comments if you remember where Doctor Doom, what country he's ruling over. If you remember, please leave that in the comments so that I can get the ball rolling on that. But so with Doctor Doom, being in that state, he was basically wallowing, that he couldn't think clearly, that he couldn't come up with any ideas, that he wasn't motivated to go forward. All the people that looked to him in his country, they couldn't truly come to the Doctor Doom that they at least trusted their lives with. It's not as though the people that he's over, truly love him per se, but he's demonstrated himself to be that proper leader that they at least can trust in to cover them and to do right by them as a country, as their king, basically. So in this storyline, what I'm thinking of doing is having the Doctor Doom that succeeded in the salvation of their Marvel Universe not being satisfied with that being enough. So he puts a twist on this story by establishing the Council of Doom. So by establishing the Council of Doom, he fights to recollect all of those Doctor Dooms, restore their minds, restore their thoughts, so that they can come together and think of a way, what can we do to wish that to be in a position of power where everything is under our control, everything is functioning properly, and all of us, as we can see, if I'm in rule, everything's perfect. What do we need to do to make it to where we're all in rule, to where everything's perfect? What can we do to make that happen? And they stumble across determining that they need to go to the Dragon Ball universe, get their hands on the Dragon Balls. Now, in the Thanos mindset, like I said, why would Thanos go for the Dragon Balls? Thanos would go for the Dragon Balls for the destruction of the Marvel Universe in one prospect. And another prospect, the destruction of all Thanos across the multiverse. In this case, Doctor Doom wants the Dragon Balls for the salvation of the multiverse. Of all the universes across the spectrum, they want to ensure their salvation by putting Doctor Doom in that position to make sure that they're at a salvatory state. Not just wishing for their salvation, but he has to be in a position of power to bring them to salvation. So that is what he's looking towards doing. The biggest and best conqueror in all of Marvel would be that of Thanos. So that's why Thanos is leading this charge. But the person that would need to be in power for everything to go properly would have to be Doctor Doom. And I hopefully this is a very simple video that kind of hits on a very good thought process. And what I'm doing is, with this story, of course, as you can tell, I'm reaching at nuggets, bringing everything together. Okay, that would make sense. I would expect Doctor Doom to do that. Okay, that would make sense. I would expect Thanos to do that. And of course, I'm looking to go back to the heroes, and you guys will be hearing back from me on this come Sunday. But we're going to double back to the heroes and see what is their plan. How are they going to figure out what's going on? How are they going to traverse the multiverse? How are they going to contend with, currently in their thought process, Thanos, and even more so, who's going to stop Thanos on the Dragon Ball's Earth? Who can stop him? Yamcha? No. Krillin? No. Mr. Roshi? Sorry, but no. So who's going to be able to contend with him? Piccolo? Gohan? He's been slacking. We don't know. So that's something to be thinking about, guys. Leave me some comments in the bottom and tell me what you think. What do you think of Dr. Doom going in this process to get the Dragon Balls to go for this main goal? Do you think that's a good idea? And who do you think could stand up to Thanos on Dragon Ball's Earth without Goku or Vegeta being there? Please leave your comments at the bottom. I thank you guys, and make sure you subscribe. I hope y'all have yourselves a blessed evening. Thank you.